Yeah, well, you can trust this. Yeah. What is it? Tuesdays. Touch Me Tuesdays. Is that what we're going to call it? Touch Me Tuesdays? I don't know. We won't call it that. We'll call it NBA Tuesday, and we'll turn that down. Okay, that's Super Freak by Rick James, and then You Can't Trust This by MC Hammer, and maybe in a couple of years we'll have something else. But for right now, NBA Tuesday. NBA Tuesday, where there was a total of 6 games. 6 games for the whole night. Most of these teams are winding down. There's like 10 games left in the season for most of the teams. And they're playing like it too. The ones that are ahead are just playing like they can't wait for the season to end. And the ones who are way far behind now, they're behaving as if they want to be contenders. Yeah, fat chance of that. Let's get right to it. Okay. What do we got here? The Indiana Pacers. They traveled to Charlotte to take on the Charlotte Hornets. Indiana's 30-40. Charlotte is 23-30. So you think, just by the appearance of the records, that the Pacers are going to win. Wrong. Pacers lost again to what would be the worst team in the league. I mean, worst team in the East, except for the Detroit Pistons. The Charlotte Hornets without LaMelo Ball. Okay, without the sensation, that center Mark Williams, who was giving them, 15 to 20 points a game. Without Ball or Mark Williams, still managed to beat the Indiana Pacers 115-109, 115-109. Was it close? Well, let's not even go there. Let's just go with the Pacers. Aaron Nesmith, former Boston Celtics, just can't find his rhythm. Once was a prolific college scorer, but in the NBA, looks a bit skittish. He needs to take some affirmation and confidence sessions in order to get his game down playing in the NBA. He's actually playing, this is his first season as a starter, and but I think it's like his 4th season in the league. So the time is clicking on you, Aaron. Hopefully, you find your stroke. You're a pretty good defensive player. You have long range. Just take the ball to the hoop. Let him foul you. That's my advice. But then again, you're not paying for that. Okay. Miles Turner. Aaron Nesmith played 17 minutes, gave him 4 points. Miles Turner played 28 minutes, gave him 20 points. Andrew Nebhoff, who made that famous fadeaway jumper over LeBron James, what seems like months ago, played 29 minutes, was 1 for 6, 2 points. 2 points. Shavano Hyde, the volume shooter that he is, 7 for 18 for 20 points. And then you have Benedict Mathurin. He chipped in 18 points in 30 minutes. Tyrese Halliburton was out injured. Jaden Smith, it looks like, gave you 10. And Isaiah Jackson gave you 12 off the bench. The bench gave you a total of 45 points, and it was not enough. Even though the Charlotte Hornets bench only gave them 18, they still beat the Indiana Pacers. PJ Washington. Okay, I don't know what to say. I don't know why they're holding on to this guy. But anyway, 10 points, 36 minutes, 4 for 11, 10 points. Gordon Hayward, who always scores when you really don't need it. Yeah, that guy. Gordon Hayward, the guy that LeBron James broke his leg. Yeah, that guy, the guy with the red hair, played for the Celtics. Well, when you don't need any points, there's Gordon for you. 8 for 15. That's right, for 22 points. Then you had Nick Richards. He was 5 for 8, 14 points. And then you had Terry Rozier. Never afraid to shoot Terry. 7 for 19, 23 points. And Kelly Oubre. Now, with LaMelo Ball gone, Kelly Oubre has become that guy again. The guy that we all thought he was going to be. Then all of a sudden, LaMelo Ball showed up and ball hogged the ball. And Kelly didn't get it. But with LaMelo gone, Kelly Oubre has stepped to the fore and had 28 points on 10 for 17 shooting. Not bad. Not bad at all. I was going to say, PJ Washington, the guy that I just demeaned with 10 points, had a plus 19. And Gordon Hayward, the second guy that I demeaned, had a plus 26 while he was on the floor. They led the team in the plus minus column. So they're doing something. That's right. They won the game. Okay, it doesn't matter. They won the game. So they're doing something. And they lead in the plus and minus column more than Terry Rozier and Mr. Kelly Oubre. So what do I know, right? These guys are getting it done. The Chicago Bulls. Yeah, the guys who picked up Pat Beverly so they could have that playoff run. Really? You're going to make a playoff run so you picked up Pat Beverly. Okay. Anyway, Chicago. Nobody believes that crap. Nobody believes that. Not at all. But anyway, you're there. You travel to Philadelphia. Chicago traveled to Philadelphia. Talk about, I don't know if it's bad or worse. But anyway, Chicago traveled to Philadelphia to take on the 76ers, and they beat them. That's right. 76ers lost in double overtime. 109 to 105. 109 to 105. The Philadelphia 76ers crashed and burned in Philadelphia to top it off. Let's go with Philadelphia because let's go with the losers first. Losers, well, yeah, go first. You have Mr. Tobias Harris. That's right, Mr. Tobias Harris. High-profile tie. Well, he played 47 minutes, and he gave you 14 points. 47 minutes, 14 points. Let's just leave that alone. Just Daniel House Jr., 23 minutes, 4 points. Thank gosh for Joel Embiid. Joey's just carrying this freaking team. Without Joey, you know what? He played, and they're playing him 44 minutes. They played him 44 minutes. He was 11 for 22. Okay, only took 2 3-point shots, missed them both, but that's okay. 37 points, 16 rebounds. 37 points, 16 rebounds. Oh, and he even chipped in an assist there. How can you beat that? Tyrese Maxey, the second coming of, well, nobody. Played 46 minutes, 9 for 19. Has a lot of speed, though. 22 points. James Harden. Well, playoff time is coming, everybody. That's right. And we know what happens to James Harden in playoff time. As a matter of fact, he's trending to that right now. Seeing this, there's only 10 games before the end of the season. He's going to his playoff state of mind. James Harden played 47 minutes, was 8 for 20, 2 from 9 from the 3-point line. Oh, wait. No, excuse me. Sorry, wrong. James Harden played 47 minutes. He was 2 for 14, 0 for 6 from the 3-point line. Sounds a little bit different, right? Okay. For 5 points. 5 whole points from somebody who played 47 minutes in the game. Yes, that's that James Harden that we know and love. Coming to the playoffs, you can expect more of that too. Okay. And that's it. They got 25 points they got 23 points from the board, from the bench. And James Harden, at the end of the game, had a chance to shoot the win or lose basket. I think it was tied at 91 points. So tied at 91 points, the ball got into James Harden's hand. He faked it and held on to it, and then passed to Tyrese Maxey, who missed the shot with time running out, the clock expiring. So the game went into overtime at 91 points. Well, Harden didn't do anything then. So then it went into the second overtime at 99 points. And in the second overtime, Joel Embiid fouled out. And that was the name of that tune. Because after that, it was all over. He was the one who kept him in the game. Block shots. This guy had block shots too. Rebounds. Okay. Jesus. 3 blocks. These were at the rim blocks too. So 3 blocks, that's what they counted. Probably, I don't know if he had any more. I'm not going to exaggerate. I'm not entirely sure. So we'll just leave it at that. Okay. We'll go over it again. Philadelphia lost 109 to 105 to the Chicago Bulls. You know what? I didn't even cover the Bulls. Let's get to the Bulls. Patrick Williams is starting again. And since he is starting again, he's giving you nothing. I played 32 minutes, 1 for 6, 6 points. Then you had DeMar DeRozan, 46 minutes, 10 for 22, 25 points. Nikola Vucevic, 46 minutes, 8 for 12 for 21 points. Patrick Beverley, the aforementioned Patrick Beverley, played 40 minutes, was 2 for 10. 2 for 10. 2 for 8 from the three-point line. And 6 points. And then you had Zach LaVine, 47 minutes, 8 for 20, 26 points. They got 10 points off the bench from Derrick Jones and 11 off the bench for Kobe White. And that was that. Ayo Drummond, no, it's Ayo Dosunmu came in the game for it. That's a quick guy. As soon as he finds his legs in the NBA, he's going to be trouble. Ayo Dosunmu. That's him. Dosunmu. Watch out for that kid. Now, we move on. The Timberwolves. Yes, the Minnesota Timberwolves. That team. The one that used to have a guy named Karl Anthony Towns, who we haven't seen in 3 months. And they say it's because of a calf injury. A calf injury. Okay. They traveled to New York City. New York. I want to wake up in a city that doesn't sleep. Well, New York should get some sleep because they hardly ever win at home. Hint, hint, hint. That being said, New York took on the Minnesota Timberwolves. And New York lost at home, which they do more often than not. Now, I don't know if anybody knows this, but yes, they do. They have a terrible record at home. They lose at home more than anything else. Wait a minute. Actually, they're 20-17 at home. So they've actually won 20 games and lost 17. They picked it up. They're not just, they're barely above 500 at home, but what the heck? They won. And that's what they're happy about more than anything else. What am I talking about? They lost. They hardly ever win at home. And they lost because they usually lose. Let's get back on track here. Now, let's get to the Knicks because we're going to go with losers first today. Losers get to go first. The New York Knicks. Oh, this is gonna blow your mind. Julius Randle, 19 for 29, 57 points. Now, you think that's pretty hot, right? 57 points. Mr. Randle was a -6 in the plus-minus column. Yep. Even with 57 points, somehow the other team scored 6 more points than whatever he could put up out there when he was out there. Mitchell Robinson, and his this is probably a glaring. Mitchell Robinson is the weakest link in this game. Why? Because he played 28 minutes, 0 points. You know, Mitch, if you just had to contribute something, I mean, the Timberwolves beat him 140 to 134, 141, 6 points. Mitch, if you just had to contributed 7 points, you could have won this. The Knicks could have won. But no, you're at home too. If you're not going to shoot at home, I don't know where you're going to shoot. Jalen Brunson, he's off of his big tear where he was scoring 40 points a game. I think he had some leg injury. 37 minutes, 9 for 18, 23 points. R.J. Barrett, another weakest link. One of the first-round draft picks. I think he's picked number 2, 3, or 4, one of those two. 27 minutes. Doesn't like to shoot the ball either. Just like Mitchell Robinson. 13 points. And Quentin Grimes, 21 minutes, 1 for 1 for 3 points. You're at home, guys. New York. Maybe they boo you at home or something like that. I don't know. Nobody wants to shoot, okay? 37 points off the bench. No. 38 points off the bench for the Knicks. Josh Hart gave him 10, and Emmanuel Quickly gave him 19. Not going to get it done, guys. Not going to get it done. And they didn't get it done. So let's go to the Timberwolves, who were playing without Karl Anthony Towns for like the third year straight. And without Anthony Edwards, their leading scorer. And then the third leading scorer would have been D'Angelo Russell, but he's gone. He's back with the Los Angeles Lakers. So they didn't have the three leading scorers traveling in the Madison Square Garden to take on the vaunted New York Knicks at home in front of the home crowd, rested, relaxed. And what happened? The Timberwolves beat them without the three leading scorers. Let's get right to it. Taurean Prince, who has just been getting mop-up duty. They haven't been playing them. They had Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell. They put in Taurean Prince whenever, I don't know. There's very far. I know how they ever saw the guy get off the bench, maybe just a little bit. Well, now, with Anthony out injured and Russell gone, Taurean's playing. Taurean played 32 minutes. 35 points with a plus 28 and the plus-minus column, leading all the Grizzlies, who were without Ja Morant, too. All the Grizzlies, that includes Desmond Bane. Yeah. Oh, hold on. No, wrong team. That's Memphis. That includes Rudy Gobert, Kyle Anderson, Mike Conley. He led them all. 35 points, plus-minus 28. Then you had Jaden McDaniels, 26 minutes, 18 points. Kyle Anderson, 34 minutes, 10 points. Rudy Gobert, that big pickup they got from Utah, he played 37 minutes, gave him 16 points. And Mike Conley, he's back. You know, Mike's been here since, well, who knows, a long time. He played 32 minutes, gave him 24 points. They got 37 points off the bench. Naz Reid came in and did a really swell job in the fourth quarter, taking the ball to the hoop, getting that 12. And Jay Noel also gave him 14 of that 37 points. And again, there it is. The New York Knicks lose again at home. 140 to 134. 140 to 134. Case closed. Next, we have those Golden State Warriors. Not remember Golden State. They lost 10 straight on the road. Stephen Smith said they were the runaway favorite to win the NBA championship once again or make it to the finals. Doesn't know that that's going to happen anytime soon. Well, the Warriors, after losing 10 straight on the road, traveled to Houston. Houston has the worst record in the league. Maybe Golden State could finally get a road win, and they did. They beat Houston 121 to 108, 121 to 108, and they did it in stunning fashion. Yes, they battled back and had actually they were never behind ever. Nope, they weren't. So no, they didn't have to battle back. They just had to maintain and wait for Houston to shoot themselves in the foot, which they did. Young guys jumping all over the place, but don't know how to win in the end in the fourth quarter when it matters. And that's what happened. They didn't win. So let's get to the Houston Rockets, since they're the losers, even though they're home. We're going to start off with them. Jabari Smith, 7 for 15. 1 for 4 from three-point line, 17 points. Kenyon Martin, 33 minutes, 5 for 12. 0 for 4 from three-point line, 13 points. Tari Eason, 9 for 16. 1 for 5 for three-point line, 21 points. Kevin Porter Jr., 4 for 15. 3 for 10 from the three-point line, 17 points. And Mr. Jalen Green, who never saw a shot he wouldn't take. Yeah, 41 minutes, 7 for 19, 20 points. They got 20 points on the bench. Josh Christopher giving them 10 of that. Now let's move on to the Golden State Warriors with that big-time scorer that we know of named Draymond Green, who came out there and lit it on fire. He played 34 minutes, was 4 for 4 for 18 points. So I got to give it to you. Okay, Draymond, he led the whole team in plus minus. So he's doing something out there. 8 points is not an indicator of how well he's doing or how bad he's doing because he led the team with a plus minus of 15. Then you had Kevon Looney. I think they call him Kevon Looney. Played 24 minutes, had 11 points. Steph Curry, Mr. Steph Curry, played 36 minutes, 10 for 23. How does this guy score all these points and hardly ever shoots over 25 balls a game? 30 points. Klay Thompson, 11 for 21, 29 points. And Dante DiVincenzo played 19 minutes for 5 points. Mr. Jordan Poole, yeah, he's out there, but he didn't even score in double figures. Jonathan Kuminga did. Jonathan Kuminga scored in double figures. He was 7 for 9. 7 for 9. 1 for 2 from three-point line, 17 points. That's 7 to 9. That'll jump out to you. The bench gave him 38 points, and Jonathan Kuminga gave him 17 of that 38 points. Bada boom. Now, I think that about does it for that game. The Houston Rockets lose to the Golden State Warriors 121 to 108. Houston loses at home. Not that it matters. They've lost all over the place. The record at home is 12 and 26. They've won 12 games and lost 26 at home. So nobody, I bet you you can fit thousands and thousands of homeless people into that arena during the game. And they might not be too drunk. They might actually cheer for the Rockets. Because I'm sure nobody's going to the game right now to watch them. So if they need some people there to root them on, to give them positive encouragement. I know there's a lot of homeless in Houston that for that 3 hours wouldn't mind being inside the whatever arena that they're playing in Houston, and just whatever. Better watch out for the concession stands. They might make a run on them. Okay. Now, the Dallas Mavericks with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, that powerhouse team, they had Luka and they picked up Kyrie, and this team was supposed to go places that haven't been seen by the human eye. Yeah, they were supposed to go straight to the top. Well, they traveled to Memphis to take on the Memphis Grizzlies, and they lost. Mavericks did. Luka wasn't playing, but who knows? Ja wasn't playing either, and the Grizzlies still beat the Mavericks, and Luka has a higher average of scoring than Ja does, so that canceled each other out. Let's just say that the Mavericks are still losing as they have been losing for the past couple of games. Let's get to the specifics. The Dallas Mavericks. They started Maxi Kleber. I'm going to go with my partner Erick James' pronunciation, Kleber. I did pronounce it Kleber. Kleber. Which one it is, Maxi, you just let us know and we'll get it right next time. 33 minutes. You were the weakest link, Maxi. 2 points. You only shot the ball 3 times at 30. I don't know how you do that, but anyway. Reggie Bullock has had a terrible year. Terrible. I don't know what anybody can say for Reggie. He just dropped off a cliff this year. 31 minutes, 3 for 6. Maybe he's injured, 7 points. But still scored more than Maxi. But then, when you combine that with Dwight Powell, who played 12 minutes and gave you 6 points, well, 3 of your starters gave you 15 points. And it's kind of hard to come back from that. Yeah, that about did it. You're dangling off the cliff then, and somebody just has to let the rope go because there's no way, for the most part, that you're going to win. When your 3 starters combined for 15 points, that's like 5-point average each. Okay, you can let it go there. Kyrie was, no, can't be. Oh, 10 for 24. Kyrie was 10 for 20. I was going to say 0 for 24. No, he's 10 for 24 for 28 points. And Josh Green, 5 for 8 for 12 points. They got 53 points off the bench, and I've learned something this year. Usually, the more the bench scores, the more likelihood that your team is going to lose. Because there's a reason why the bench is in there. It's because your starters are getting croaked. So, that ended that. Let's go to the Memphis Grizzlies. And Dylan Brooks received his 18th technical, I believe. He's going to be suspended. I don't know why he has to receive 18 technicals to be suspended. How about 12? How about even 12? Yeah, I mean, how about even 10? Why 18? Is it 18? Or is it more than 18? You have to get more than 18. Well, he got his 18th last night. Okay. NBA technicals. And you know what? What happens if you get 16 technicals? The NBA automatically suspends the player for one game. So this is like Dylan Brooks. Seems like it's 18. Oh, it doesn't directly say. Let's see what we got on the news of this one. He faces a one-game suspension. So maybe this is just his 16th or 14th. Whatever. he gets the technical. It says 18th. I'm right. It's 18th technical foul for taunting the Dallas bench. Role model. Not. Okay. Jaren Jackson. He led the Memphis Grizzlies with 28 points. Xavier Tillman, 3 points. That you were the weakest link, Xavier. But the Dallas Mavericks were weaker links. Then you had two more weaker links other than you. You scored 3 points. Well, scored more than Max Kleber did. Max Kleber. And Dylan Brooks, that guy played 30 minutes, was 3 for 9, and gave you 9 points, but he taunted the bench. Tyus Jones played 35 minutes, 7 for 10, 16 points. And Desmond Bane, 7 for 17 for 17 points. They got 22 points from Santi Aldama and 10 points from Luke Kennard. And that sealed the deal. 39 points. That was it. Now, Dylan Brooks. He's taken out a couple of people. Sometimes it looks intentional. The taunting. I know he did a bowling ball maneuver into Donovan Mitchell that caused the fight. Now, the NBA knows they have players like this. Why they allow them to play? To the detriment of other players and their physical health, safety. Why they allow players who jeopardize other players' safety intentionally. Sounds like a lawsuit to me. If a guy has a history of physically hurting other players, he should not be allowed to play. Now, I say this because me and my partner had a discussion. The disappearing American player. Yes. You see, everyone's complaining about Jokic possibly winning the third MVP, and he's white, you know. We had Max. No, we had Perkins, Mr. Perkins, and then we had Draymond Green, and the rest of these guys complaining about that. But let's be honest, guys. The international player, the player coming from another country, be he Joel Embiid, be he Giannis Antetokounmpo, be he Jokic, okay? They're the leaders of the NBA right now. And we should be talking about why. What is going on in the Black community that is keeping what used to be NBA stars, you know, with the stronghold, okay, with the American Black player is no longer. I mean, there's players from all around the world that are taking over the NBA. and taking these players' spots. What is going on? Could it be a lack of perseverance? Could it be bad attitude? Or could it be the spiraling upward crime figures that threaten the lives of the majority of Black Americans as they live in the city? Black on black crime. This is something that's not discussed. Why? Because you can't blame white people for it. But it's happening. And instead of Draymond Green and Kendrick Perkins talking about a white player leading an MVP race, what they should have been talking about is the declining number of Black American stars. And the reason why it's not going to be what anybody really wants to go over. It has to do with black on black crime. So ESPN is not going to touch that. Not at all. They're going to happy horse fling it into another direction. Preferably, it's going to be a bias somewhere, just like Stephen A. not getting paid enough. Stephen A., who makes $12 to $15 million a year, says he's underpaid. Okay. That's a soundbite. That's something to talk about. And meanwhile, the declining Black American player, the beat goes on. Nobody's ringing the bell for you to wake up and start taking stock of yourselves and start cleaning up your neighborhoods. Start going back to two-parent households so these kids can get out. Why does every American Black star have to have a sob story, a bad story of some bad situation that he came out of? Nobody else has to do this. Gets a bit redundant without the blame somewhat falling in the area that nobody wants it to fall to. That being said, let's move on to the last game of the night. The Kings, the Sacramento Kings, the surprising Sacramento Kings traveled to Utah to take on the Utah Jazz. And Utah just beat the Celtics. Saturday night, I think it was. Saturday or Sunday night. Yeah, some wild finish. So, Larry Markkanen is not even playing. What's going on here? Surely the Kings are going to rectify this situation. They're going to go into Utah and lay the hammer down. Say, you can't touch this, right? Wrong. Wrong again. The Utah Jazz defeated the visiting Sacramento Kings 128 to 120, 128 to 120, and no, this has no playoff implications for the Jazz, maybe for the Kings. But the Kings are firmly ensconced in second place in the West, and I don't think anything's going to change that. So they're pretty much stuck there too. So they didn't expect what was going to happen in Utah. Let me tell you what happened. Utah jumped out on them right from the beginning. First quarter, 40 to 19. 40 points for Utah, 19 points for Sacramento. Yeah, that was an indication of what was going to happen. Sacramento did try to fight back. They did try to make a game of it, but Utah prevailed. And let's go over the Sacramento Kings and see what didn't happen there. I'll tell you what didn't happen. Domantas Sabonis didn't happen. Okay, he played 38 minutes and gave you 11 points. Harrison Barnes didn't happen. He played 30 minutes and gave you 16. Kessler Edwards didn't happen. He played 19 minutes and gave you 6 points. Keegan Murray, well, he tried to make a little something happen. Played 32 minutes, 22 points. And then you had De'Aaron Fox. Yes, De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox played 36 minutes, 14 for 21, and gave you 37 points. Now, you're going to think this funny, but the guy who gave him the least points, Mr. Kessler Edwards, had the highest plus minus on the team, a plus 16. So apparently the defense plays when he's out there. He was only out there 19 minutes. So there. They didn't play for too long. Utah Jazz. Larry Markkanen was out injured with back soreness. Jordan Clarkson still has his hand injury. And Colin Sexton, the other high scorer. So the three high scorers are out injured. 3 of them. And they still beat the number 2 rated team in the West, the Sacramento Kings, by 8. Well, Kelly Olynyk, well, he was happening. 31 minutes, 19 points. Then you had Simone Fortuccio. Simone Fortuccio. Simone, well, he shot the ball 4 for 13, 33 minutes, 12 points. Walker Kessler, another Walker Kessler signing, played 30 minutes for 10 points. Taylor Horton Tucker. I was going to say TNT. This is called THT. TNT Tucker. Let's just give him that name. TNT Tucker. And apparently not a lot of explosive in his bang. 21 minutes, 10 points. And Ochai Ogabi. Ochai played 33 minutes, 8 for 14, 27 points. That was it. Rudy Gay. There was a Rudy Gay signing. Yes, Rudy Gay came off the bench for 11. Udoka Azubike came off the bench for 13. And Mr. Chris Dunn, speaking of hard luck stories, Mr. Chris Dunn came off the bench to give him 18. Chris Dunn had a horrific story of growing up. He's one of those guys that I focused on. Went to Providence, did 4 years there, came out, was drafted by the Timberwolves, who traded him to Chicago after his first year. He lasted a couple of seasons in Chicago, but he had a horrific story growing up, and there's no need for it. There's no need for what happened to Chris Dunn. Okay? They can't blame it on the system. They can, in the sense that they allow these mothers to take their kids and do whatever they want with them, and the fathers have to try to track them down in order to get their kids, in order to save the family, to make it hard on the fathers to save the family. That's part of the system. That part is never talked about. And that's what happened to Chris Dunn. Finally, on a lighter note, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Eastern Conference. Yes, the Eastern Conference. We still have the Milwaukee Bucks leading the Eastern Conference. They've taken it over. They got a firm, iron grip on it. They lead the Boston Celtics by 2.5 games. And the Celtics, well, let's put it this way. The Bucks are 7-3 in the last 10 games, and the Celtics are 5-5. So that trend is not trending toward the Celtics. It's trending toward the Bucks, keeping that lead and going on and winning the division. So you have the Milwaukee Bucks, followed by the Boston Celtics, 2.5 games. And then you have the Philadelphia 76ers, who were just a half game behind the Boston Celtics and are 8-2 in their last 10. So they are trending upward as the Celtics are trending downward. And the Celtics are probably going to drop below the 76ers, which is not going to matter much because 76ers aren't going to make it out the first or second round, probably the first round, because James Harden is going to disappear again. And then you have the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're in the 4th spot. They're behind the Philadelphia 76ers. So 76ers only behind Milwaukee by 3. Cleveland's behind by 7. That's a done deal. They've played 73 games so far, so there's only 9 more games left for these guys to play. That's not going to happen. But they're 7-3 in the last 10. They're maintaining their focus, and they're trending upward. Will they catch the Celtics? They win 4 games and the Celtics lose 4 games. That's a done deal. Then you have the New York Knicks. New York Knicks are in 5th place. Now, I can't remember the last time the New York Knicks were in 5th place or this close to the top. Can anyone? You know, the chat, we're going to have to get a chat thing. We go live a lot of times. You know what? Feel free to go live. I can't believe this. I'm looking at the clock, and I've been talking on 40 minutes by myself. You know, I miss my partner, Erick James. Obviously, you know that. We have a great camaraderie. But even if Erick James is not here, Mr. Motormouth is here to keep talking. Yes, he is. Well, New York Knicks, they're in 5th place, 10 games behind the leaders, the Milwaukee Bucks. Then you have the Brooklyn. How are the Brooklyn Nets still in this? Well, they're 12 games back. And the Brooklyn Nets are still in this because everyone else is just god-awful bad. Yes, they're just terrible. Terrible. Okay. The Brooklyn Nets are 39-32, 12 games behind, 5-5 the last 10 games. Then you have the Miami Heat. They are 39-34. Wow. So they played 73 games also. 13 games behind everyone, 6-4 in the last 10 games. Then you have the Atlanta Hawks, eighth place, 35-36. They have a losing record. Below 500. 4-6 in the last 10 games. 16 games behind the leaders. What does anybody have to say about this? What can you say? Has anybody got anything good or positive to say about the Atlanta Hawks? I mean, I'm going to call my cousin and see if I can have him come on with me. I mean, he's a Hawks guy. Lives in Atlanta, or used to. And we've done some things together. I want to hear him talk about the Atlanta Hawks. It's going to be doom and gloom. Doom and gloom. They haven't had a good team since Dominique Wilkins was there. Dominique. The Toronto Raptors, also below 500, 35-37, 5-5 the last 10. And then you have the Chicago Bulls making their playoff push with Pat Beverly. Yeah, those Chicago Bulls are below 500 also. 34-37. They are 6-4 in the last 10. So, yeah, they're making a run. Yeah, everybody, they're making a run to nowhere. They're going nowhere and nowhere fast. And they're just cutting costs and saving money as they do in Chicago. They always circle the wagons and pull all the silver and gold they can out of the rifles or whatever and just run off into the while no one's looking. Doesn't matter. They don't care. They want the money. Then we have the Washington Wizards, the Indiana Pacers, the Orlando Magic, the Charlotte Hornets, and the Detroit Pistons. Rounding out the Eastern Conference. My predictions are Milwaukee Bucks. Philadelphia is going to catch the Celtics. They're in the tailspin. Okay? They look tired. They look worn down. There is no Robert Williams. Al Horford is 36 going on 55. And they just can't keep that going like that. Jaylen Brown does not look the same since he had his fractured cheekbone, and Jason Tatum looks tired. He can't even hit. He can't hit any more 3-pointers anymore. He's too tired. He's jacking them up, but you have to be precise in order to get that ball into the hoop when you're 25 to 30 feet out. And he's not feeling that. And that does it. That does it, everybody. So, looking at it like that, what are the playoff implications? I think the Celtics still get out of the first round, but that's about it. If there's no Robert Williams and Al Horford is not there, they're going to. You're looking at the Bucks. The Bucks are the preeminent team in the East now. Yes, that's right, Milwaukee Bucks fans. Your team with Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, Jrue Holiday, and, of course, Grayson Allen. Who could forget Grayson Allen, right? Your team looks like it's going to be the team coming out of the East. Now, I'm predicting that, and I'm usually right. I am usually right, but it is still early. So we shall see what happens. I will see you on Tuesday, okay, for NBA Thursday. NBA Thursday, we go over the Western Conference and what's happening in that conference. The teams, we go over what teams played the night before, Wednesday, but then we also go over what's happening in the Western Conference with the teams there. Whether any teams are making moves or are they just going down the flames like the Mavericks. That we will talk about. Well, Luka Doncic, when you come back, we'll see what happens, but I still don't think you guys are going to be able to get it done. Shout out to my partner, Erick James, who is a big Mavericks fan. He's going to be very disappointed. He's a Mavericks and a Boston Celtics fan. It's going to be a lean year for him. But he will be here on Thursday to talk about that himself and let you know just how he feels about it. And if I know him, it's going to be short and sweet. With that, I bid you adieu. From Algeria to Zimbabwe and every country in between, we're going to say arrivederci, adios, au revoir, vaya con Dios, and Goodbye, everybody. See you then. Bye bye.